Boom. We're live, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin over 55K. This is Tio and the Arcane Bear. Another beautiful day to be here, going over some market sentiments and analysis. And hey, we're right. Bull market's not over. Who would have thought? Oh yeah, we did. And why, you might be asking yourself? How did we get it right? Did we predict it? No, the market told us. And that's what we like to do here with the Arcane Bear. Listen to what the market happens to be whispering. And one of the best ways to do that is by doing your homework, due diligence, and really diving into trading range analysis, which is what we go over here. So we're going to take our cool, calm, collected approach, and boom, there she is, Bitcoin at $56,131. Ooh-wee. Historic moment, ladies and gentlemen. You guys have been doing great so far, right? Congratulations on being here. We are still early. I think that's important to remember. We're still using like crazy hexadecimal numbers to send value across the planet, and that definitely means that we are early. So from the 32,000 mark, when people are creating a lot of conjecture that we'd go down to 20, we have now gone up almost 100%, doing an extremely bullish move, and in this nice kind of rising channel from some of our ranges as well. So we've stayed just above top here, started to curve up. And again, for those of you that are new and have been studying with us for a while, look at this supply signature decrease as the price rises. This is an extremely bullish fundamental case, and as the supply decreases, there's much less supply needed for the price to go up. You know, a lot of people get this wrong, almost everybody gets this wrong, but in a bull market, you actually want decreasing supply. That means that there is less supply coming into the open market, which is why the price is going up, is because every time someone buys a Bitcoin and there's less of that Bitcoin available on the open market, it gets closer and closer to these absolute face-melting moves that we've been talking about, and the likelihood that we get there very quickly. I believe a nominal price for Bitcoin here is around $100,000, and I actually think we're going quite a bit higher than that. I think we're going to be at $100,000 by August. I remember telling people that in June, and they're like, nah, like June of last year. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. I'm like, yeah, you just wait. Whoa. Again, nothing I predicted. That was more of an outlandish guess. Here, we're actually following the market sentiments and growing with it. I can't actually predict that into the future, and I would never try to, but this nice, sweet, parabolic change in character that we're getting out of Bitcoin now really signals that the next few moves are going to be basically face melters here. Look at that nice curvature and structure coming through the market. So once we see this type of change come in, it's pretty much time to get, I don't want to say this, but it's time to get your moon boots on, ladies and gentlemen. The next phases that come in here for Bitcoin are generally going to absolutely blow people's minds. And this whole sector has done that. We've seen that in other areas. Avalanche was a great example of that. Cardano, a great example of that. Even Link and Ethereum have had extremely bullish years already. We're up hundreds, thousands of % on all of these tokens, right? So we're in the middle of a bull market, and an extremely powerful one, because this entire tech sector changes the way we do business. Now, I want to recommend to everyone that's new out there to the investing sector to be patient. You know, I've seen all these people like, oh, ETH is boring. It's like, well, what you suck at doing, most likely, is actually interpreting value and knowing the difference between a change in character. So what we can do here is we can just measure for fun here. We'll go from January 12th. We'll just pick a bottom day, January 12th, and we'll measure up. So Ethereum is up 100% since January 12th. And let's see, Bitcoin here is approximately, I think, around the same, actually. Yeah, around 70%. So Ethereum has actually outperformed Bitcoin. We've gone over this multiple times. The problem is people are impatient, and which means they generally don't have a lot of money. And that kind of sucks to be them. But what you should do is learn how to be a better investor, which is really lean into the patience, because that's going to do you tenfold better than complaining about like, oh my God, ETH is not going up fast enough. I have one ETH and it should be worth $1 million. Why am I not bit millionaire yet? You really need to quell your emotions if you're a new investor. You've been here for a week, it sounds like, by a lot of the comments I see in the channel. And that's not, like, congratulations, welcome to the big boy table. It's good to have you, but stop acting like a child. So Bitcoin on an absolute tear of a move. We never once came back down to test the resistance yet at all. It's freaking amazing. I thought we would get like a little test, and this was it. This was the test of the support that we got that one day where we dipped down to 46,000. We were chatting with a private bear member, and he was very very adamantly got in and out of a position very quick and then back in very quickly. But yeah, here we are in the middle of the bull market, and it's tasty to be here, that's for damn sure. The next thing, again, we can kind of go over here is the structure of Ethereum still looks very strong. We're closing above the SOS and the particular backup phases trading range. We have, again, very similar supply characteristics, decreasing supply, rising price. All of this looks really good. Nothing here concerns me. I see this across the board right now. We even had a new high posted on Link earlier today at $36. Again, as you go in here, look at this nice decreasing supply characteristic, rising price. We're seeing all of the bullish indicators that we want coming out of our market sector right now. Even after Cardano's breakdown here, you have this nice new change. You had this big spring all the way down to the preliminary support. This wick here is huge, and the supply that came in. But more importantly, again, rising price, falling supply characteristics. These are all really important fundamentals to keep an eye on. There's been a little bit more volatility around Avalanche because of the conversation about the text bridge, which is now updated and working again, as far as I can tell. As you can see here, you have a massive supply come into this spring, and then we've been performing higher lows, higher highs, higher low, higher high, and then currently now producing another higher low right around the point of control here for Ethereum as well, for Avalanche as well. So we're kind of right on that change of character curve that we saw with Bitcoin when we had the primary springs or secondary tests back here in the early parts of the trading range. So right now, if you compare them, you have this the spring and your higher high, higher low. And then here you just had a much higher high and a significantly higher low here. Again, Avalanche has really been testing that area of resistance, mostly because first off, we're up really high already. Look here, when our first tweet went out about Avalanche, and we were talking about it around $3. I think a lot of the Bear family got in around $6 to $9 on these primary SOS and LPS features here. So shout out to the private Bear group. And for those of you guys that are wondering, the disease of the new investor comes from the sickness of the mind, over emotional trading, and lack of education. If you want to create and cure that environment, what you do is you join a group of other people who've already succeeded in doing that. And that's what we've got at the Arcane Bear, over 800 people collaborating together in the private group. So if you find yourself adventurous and like trying new things, go to arcanebear.com/private and join our private group today. That's the only ad we'll run today. And the second thing I want to do, actually, well, you guys are all here, and we're going to actually make this a bit more of a longer kind of marathon chat today. So I'm going to quickly give you guys my face, and what I want to do is tell you about Kiva. Now, I'm sure a lot of you already know about Kiva, but we had a little chat with our branding specialist today, and we figured that what we should do, instead of waiting until the end of the episodes, let's just go ahead and make Kiva like a much more in-your-face, upfront part about what we do. So Kiva is a non-profit that makes loans to underbanked and underserved entrepreneurs around the world, something that is near and dear and close to my heart. One of the reasons why I joined this sector is because I was such a big fan of what Bitcoin could do to help the underbanked. So what we're going to do today is we're going to find someone to make a loan to. So I'm logged into my Arcane Bear Kiva account. As you can see, this month we've lent around $2,900, and we've got another $710 that we can loan today. So shout out to Eric Hogan, who helped who gave us like almost $3,000 or $2,000 in super chats in one of our previous videos. We dropped all of that into Kiva here. Well, the Las Margaritas group, a loan of I love Guatemalan women and Mali here. So let's go take a look at Las Margaritas. So what we end up doing here is making loans to entrepreneurs. Generally, the first thing I do is I check the field risk partner. I try to look for something that's closer to 4 stars predominantly, because then they're much less likely to default on their loans. Because again, you can make these loans out and maybe they don't pay you back. Not that would really bother us. We like the story of supporting entrepreneurs. Oh, here we go. Claudia, a loan of $4,000 for seeds and fertilizers to continue to grow her farm. Nice. We've got our 4-star customer rating. So I like Claudia's story so far. Here she is. 40 years old, a wonderful, hardworking woman, tries her utmost to provide for her family a decent life. She lives in her family in Bethlehem, the West Bank of Jordan. Jordan. Her husband works in construction, doing hard work with unstable income. Claudia started farming in order to help her husband with family expenses. She turned to Palestine Credit Development to request a loan to buy seeds and fertilizers for her work that will increase the production and enhance her income. She hopes that you will help fund her loan. So thanks to you guys, the Arcane Bear family, we all work together. We're going to smash out this loan for Claudia today, and we're gonna fill out the whole thing. There's the $175, and there's the $26 donation to Kiva that we'll give, and bingo bango, Claudia, we support your drive at being a good entrepreneur and helping support other people's desire to eat food. So thanks to that. We always like to share this on Twitter as well. So if you guys have not yet followed us on Twitter, jump in, give us a little like-see. Here we make these posts and give to Kiva frequently. And just kind of as a finalization, guys, check out how well the Arcane Bear team has done. So if you want, you can actually join the Arcane Bear team by joining the links below, arcanebear.com/Kiva, and we make loans together. Yes, that's right, together. If we go to this one, first off, guys, we are in the top 7 out of every team on Kiva for new people joining. We're the top #1 business for new members joining, and the top #7 for amount funded this month. So congratulations, and look at the impact we've made so far. $6,650 lent out to entrepreneurs in the agriculture, food, retail, arts, service, and education sector, from Colombia, Philippines, Guatemala, Kenya. We've got 45 team members on Kiva, guys. Great work. Anyways, we love Kiva. We think Kiva deserves all the highlights that we can give it. And in these bull markets, we think this is a really fun way to give back to the original reason why I was so attracted to things like Bitcoin and Ethereum, is because the people that need loans in the countries that they can't generally get them are the ones that we want to make sure are actually getting the financial services that they need and the support that they definitely deserve. Okay, so back to the charts here. Hope you guys enjoyed that little, that's like, what was that, my advertisement? That's basically the advertisement of Arcane Bear. Hey, what do you do? Yeah, try to make people's lives better, hopefully. Enrich you guys by communicating as much value as humanly possible. Okay, so back to Avalanche. We're sitting right now at the $38 mark, right on the top of the POC here. We do see a little bit of a diminished supply characteristic coming in, but because of that bug that kind of slowed the bridge down, we ended up dropping below that $44 mark. That was I thought was going to be our preliminary support. So I doubled down on my entries here at $44. Was a little early to that game, but that's okay. I'm a big believer in my venture capital plays, where it goes no matter what. BNB, the talk of the town today. Here you can see the previous trading range we were in back at $120 and the value of being able to recognize these horizontal trading ranges. So for those of you guys that want, for at least a few days, these will be free. You go to arcanebear.com/Wyckoff-key. These will be put to private and only for our private members in the next 24 hours. But for the next 24 hours, what we can do is look at these reaccumulation patterns, and it looks like this reaccumulation schematic too, if you ask me. So if we zoom in here on the 1 hour, give us a little bit more data. You had, well, the 4 hours probably a little tastier, but the retrospective analysis here is always fun. Again, for those of you guys that are studying and new to this type of trading analysis, don't try to chart something as it's happening. Go back and find previous trading ranges to do your homework and due diligence from. So here you can see a very obvious spring. Look at the amount of supply that came in, and look at that huge wick got chewed up very quickly. And then every day after that, the bulls were pushing the price up. Generally, the bulls will push the price up until they start to distribute. And it looks like we may be getting into some of that now, which is, look at this wick. Oh, excuse me. Look at this extraordinarily high wick that came off this supply coming into the market. But more importantly, retrospective study, look at this beautiful trading range, right? And then again, compare it to the way we would normally look. Okay, so we've got our buying climax. We'll go ahead and we'll just label it all here. We've got our buying climax, our primary support or preliminary supply was down here. It's kind of the same one, the PS. We had our first kind of shakeout right here. Notice the volume characteristics again down at the bottom of this one before I write it in. Notice the volume characteristics of the shakeout. This red bar here higher than the buy bar, and the extreme amount of wicks that came out here. So this was our shakeout, our primary shakeout. We had our first automatic rally to the top here. AR, we had a secondary test followed by a spring here. So your ST Boom. So guys, go back and do retrospective study. Don't, especially if you're new, don't focus on something that's about to happen. Focus on what's already happened so that you can really try to find the defining characteristics of when things changed. Because here, this spring, this moment when the supply came in became very obvious after the fact. So you want to recognize the spring as it's about to leave. And here, the significance of the breakout outside of the box, especially if we start to look on the 1 hour, look at how we left the box in the trading range and moved into an even thinner kind of SOS trading range here too. So you can see, boom, just like this, these new trading ranges that kind of formed as soon as you left. Now the sheer amount of strength here was based off two things. Number one, we've kind of gone over this a few times, but in your SOS and backup phase, you want to look for a rise in price and then a declination of price into the new backup phase. And that's what that's what we saw here. And this is also what we're seeing with Ethereum too, is that we had a quick rise in supply, and then since then in the SO or the backup of the SOS phase, we've seen this declining supply signature too. And again, exactly the same thing with Bitcoin. You had two big price spikes, bang, here and here, which drove the price up. And now you've actually been seeing the backup phase with declining supply signatures. Although it's been an extremely bullish declining supply signature, with not even a retest of the resistance, and the closest thing to a retest we saw on the support was this wick to 45,000. What we can do again is when we're studying retrospectively is you can learn a lot more than trying to go into it in the moment in the heat of the hustle, right? So here with Avalanche, we're in the heat of the hustle. It is significantly harder as a new investor or trader to gain the skill set you need to recognize these shakeouts or these secondary tests, unless it's already happened. So if you're new, guys, definitely go back and do your retrospective studies first. It's going to save you so much time, and you'll become so much better at doing it, because then you'll know what to look for in the heat of the moment. And that's what you want. You want to grow that skill set so then in the heat of the moment you can make this. Now, personally, I think anything in the box is generally gravy, but if you're below the POC here, you're super, super well defined. And again, we can kind of see that with Cardano. Although we're very, very high, this new trading range that's formed here, anything below the box here was basically gravy. And it looks like Cardano is probably about to go for a nice little lickety split run as well. So again, I don't think that you can ever get like to get to the end, right? You know, I've been playing music my whole life, and no matter how much I play or how much I study, I realize that mastery is never achievable, right? So mastery in the markets is never really achievable, but what you can do is become significantly better quite quickly if you surround yourself with people that actually know what they're doing. And that's so valuable. We've had such amazing feedback from the private group. I'm really, really proud to be able to offer such a high level of content and quality to each one of you guys. It means the world to me as well. So thank you for that. Well, boom, that's the first part of today's episode. We did one earlier today just to see how it goes, but this seems to be it's a pretty damn good time in the day to do it. So we also like to take the last half of the episode to often go over your guys' thoughts and questions and kind of riff and rant. Sometimes I spit fire, and sometimes I just it's a gentle caressing breeze of information. But let's take a look out here. DNA says, shout out to the Bear Den. Nice, DNA. Good to see you in the live chat today. Mike Stu says 100,000 by April or May. I don't think so. August is my timeline, but that's okay. That's an opinion. I actually have no real conjecture or fact for why that's the case. It's just something I've stood by for the last, it's almost 2 months now. How's the weather in Costa Rica today? It's pretty gorgeous. Although we've had a bit of rain, it's better than the snow that I see Texas is getting. And it's very unusual that it's raining at this time of day. Ryan V says, happy Friday, Tio. Thanks for all the videos. I'm going to grab some Kava tonight to chill. Nice. Maybe even buy some more Kava just because, right? Just because you're into the venture capital game. Raven is up 500%. Awesome. The whole bull market moves generally when the bull market moves. So this is why when we talk about venture capital, guys, one of the things I think is so important to recognize is that I generally don't let go of anything. That way, if the price drops dramatically, I didn't sell it, even if it gets close to zero. I like my venture cap bag to basically do whatever it wants, and I'll check back in every like 3 to 5 years and see if I got it right, or rather the market will tell me what I got right or what I didn't get right. So it's really important for me, at least, to not worry too much about the price movement in the VenCap bag unless it all of a sudden becomes an overbearing part of the diversity in my portfolio. If all of a sudden Aave represents 45% of my portfolio, I re-diversify back into Bitcoin and some of the things I feel more confident about, but that definitely don't negate the change of character or prices in those ideas. We went over that with GRT, and I think GRT is a great example. Quick shout out to Baloo, one of our private writers and great analysts we have on the team. I'm so happy to have him. We're actually going to bring him on for a live stream soon. See how you guys like me introducing new characters. What if we brought on a girl that does deep dive woman to do? Anyways, well, we're going to try and Baloo to help with more technical stuff. But if we take a quick look at GRT here, this was one of the plays that we got out via the private den. So actually, I think I can show you guys that email too. So we'll just for comparative analysis, we send these out to our private group once a week, and then we also do a private newsletter once a month as well. I focus on more macro perspectives, and with Baloo, we go over very specific DeFi plays. So here we had a beautiful cup and handle. We got this out at 90 cents. Like right at the turn of the corner, and here's why: the SOS and the LPS stages. Oh wait, hold on. There you go. So here's our graph newsletter that went out about 2 weeks ago. Beautiful cup and handle, and as you can tell, this SOS and LPS that Baloo so poignantly pointed out here, this particular moment in the market here. Let's just open that up. Yeah, this SOS and LPS phase at around 90 cents, and then you can see the move that came very shortly afterwards. Absolutely explosive qualities. So here we are charting our. Let's get rid of some of this mess. Clean this up a little bit here. Boom, there we go. There's the primary trading range, the SOS, and the nice cup and handle that we had seen form throughout our trading range as well. This was a beautiful setup. And again, here at 90 cents, the newsletter was published, and you saw explosive gains. But if we want to look at it from a venture capital perspective, and more, I mean, I guess even more so, more important than an investment perspective right now, let's just look at the educational stuff that we've been going over. Look at this new trading range form and its characteristics, right? You actually see, look how similar both Avalanche and GRT are performing in this new trading range right now too. You see this high correlation between specific assets. Generally, to me, is a show of character. Who's in what market? We've got higher low, higher high, higher low, and then probably a higher high coming in here for GRT as well. So I'm still in this position. I'm not going to touch it. That's it. I took my boat of interest, and I just walk away for now. Although again, if I were to want to double down on these plays like I did with Avalanche, it would be anything in the middle. Actually, anywhere in the box is generally okay, as long as you're not playing with leverage, like because you can get wiped out super easy doing that. Don't play with leverage if you guys are new to the ecosystem. Please, for sakes, don't listen to YouTubers shilling you leverage. Just buy in the bull market. And stop listening to those overhyped people trying to shill you things that basically hurt your portfolio in one of the easiest times to make money, because all they do is make money off you guys. So don't let that happen. I mean, watch whoever you want, but just don't trade leverage if you're new, please. Thank you. Mean the world to me if we can help you guys, like, at least not lose money in one of the easiest times to make money. Okay, let's see some more thoughts and question here. BNB is the new BTC. Not even freaking close there. BNB has nothing on Bitcoin in terms of technology. BNB is a highly centralized token, is non-functional in comparison to some degree. Okay, the value shot up, but that's more of a community interest than it is as the actual value of the token. Avalanche is way cooler than... Nice. I love that Elon Musk. Yeah, you're right. So anyone that, Elon Musk has actually changed his Twitter handle to a schoolgirl, a Bitcoin schoolgirl. Gotta like that. It's always fun to see. Musk is the man. Look at him go in his memes. I just want to start a flame in your heart. Good. Great. Way to go, Musk. You're fantastic. So during our studies and our analysis here, again, we're kind of focusing on the venture capital plays. We like to find undervalued things before they become overvalued or valued properly even. That's always a good way to go. And right now, what we do is dive often into the DeFi sector. Avalanche was another great play like that. GRT worked out really well for us. Things like Link that are now more market movers. These become long-term positions in the portfolio until we see any type of real change. So with all these bigger players like Ethereum right now and Link, they're not as exciting to me as the undervalued ideas or the overlooked ideas in the ecosystem that can potentially bring a lot to the table. Let's take a look. Yeah, BNB is definitely not the new Ethereum either. It has no qualities of a good blockchain, just as a heads up. Doesn't mean it's not has value in terms of what a community can build on it, but it's not a functional like blockchain itself. And again, I try to listen to people that are much smarter than I am. So all I'm doing is reiterating my kind of monkey brain thoughts around people that have told me things that I believe are smarter than I am. So that's about it. Let's take a look. What is your end of year price target? Yeah, I don't play like that. Camberk, like what's my end of year price target for GRT? It's a senseless game to play in my opinion. What I do is look for venture capital. I look at, can I make an entry into a position and walk away from it for about 5 years, 10 years? Because again, who would have thought if you had $1,000 in Dogecoin in 2015, it'd be worth $500,000 today. So if you had gotten out of Dogecoin at the end of the year because you were, you ruined the whole point of what makes a good venture capital play, which is time. So GRT for me is a venture capital play. So I really could care less what it does at the end of the year. It could go to 0 and I wouldn't care at all. That's the whole point is I've made a bet, or I've placed my interest in an investment and I walk away. And if I get it wrong, it'll be worth nothing. And if I get it right, hopefully it'll be worth like millions of dollars. So that's my thought there. BNB fees are cheaper than ETH. Yes, correct. But it's also not good technology. And so that's extremely important to understand, I think. But again, nothing wrong with riding a wave up here, guys. Like, I believe Baloo had posted about Burger BNB and Burger and the BNB chain. I was big into the BNB chain just a few months ago. I just started focusing more on some of the DeFi stuff. And although Binance chain is cheaper fees, it's not decentralized. They could totally screw you over at any moment. So I would keep that in mind. Not that they would. It would seem really bad for that for their ecosystem, but. So a lot of you guys are asking my thoughts about different tokens like KNC. We'll look at KNC for private members because we did do an update on that not too long ago. So KNC was in a reaccumulation after decline. Not one of the strongest market sentiments, but definitely not one of the weakest ones either. So here we go. We'll take a look at KNC. In its new trading range, it looks like our initial PDF for KNC went out at $5. So, that was for Band, not KNC. Let's take a look. Let's see, when did the KNC updates come out? Let's go KNC. So here's the KNC update that went out to the private members at around $1.20. Okay, and where are we today? We're up at $2. Okay, so we're doubled off that entry so far. But again, great educational process. So here, let's get rid of some of this freaking noise I've left on the chart for no particular reason. Yeah, it looks, first off, there's a lot of volatility in KNC still, likely due to the fact that retail is here. Like people, I'll call myself retail too. Retail, like me, random people like me can invest in a bunch of random things. And because of that, you get a lot more motion from newbie traders and investors. My hair looks like the funky investor. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, I got to get this cut. I got to go to the city in a few days. Just been too busy. I haven't had any time off work. So KNC looks like it's forming a new trading range again. Many of these alternative assets right now are just in their trading range. What kind of Bitcoin steals the show at 56,000? But again, try not to get too caught up in the price movement here. I took my entries and I basically walk away until they become a noticeable part of my portfolio, or not, or I lose that entry. It's basically the easiest way for me to look at venture capital. What's your thoughts on Reef? We've gone over Reef in the private group in our last seminars. I want to make sure that we segment out the fact that, we've got a private group where we go over a lot of this stuff in depth, and then I constantly show up and give stuff to you guys for free, because I think the more people that can learn about this, the more money they will save, and probably the more money they'll make in being able to increase their wealth, because it's extremely valuable to know this stuff. So we give it away for free, but we also segment the two between what we do with the private group and what we do on the free front end, so that there's like there's more value obviously in the private group. So keep that in mind. Is this the most prosperous bull market? I don't know how to answer that question. This is a great bull market for sure. They're always fantastic. Yes, we already went over Avalanche. It just looks like we're building higher lows right along the bottom here. Looks like a great reaccumulation pattern to me so far. Again, if it would be comparable to this reaccumulation schematic, I think we're about here. So we're just kind of in the middle of phase B right now. We haven't seen that secondary automatic rally to the top of the box. I believe we get that here. And we can see the finality of the declining supply characteristics finally, and the decreased volatility. So I think we're right in the middle of phase B here, effectively here as well. Has it, I don't know what the question there. Best book to learn technical analysis. I wouldn't start on technical analysis. What I would do is start by reading a book called The Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. It's one of the most popular books for anyone looking to get in the markets, and it covers the life of Jesse Livermore, who made hundreds of millions of dollars in the 1930s from the stock market collapse of the Great Depression. Justin Sosbay drops a $5 super chat. Thanks for that, Justin. I appreciate the support. YNCV, thoughts on any venture capital plays for NFT tokens? Guys, I think that the NFT world is hyper over evaluated. What I like to do is, if there's things like art, or let's say collector's guitars, or even property, is I wait till the bear cycle comes in, and then I buy all those things up for pennies on the dollar. But until then, I'm not going to touch them in the middle of a bull market. Even if they go up, I think they're overvalued. And the best place to find the proper value of something like an art piece or a property is in the bear market, not in the middle of a bull market. Yeah, we're still fans of Aave. They've done really well. Let's see, I'll open the Aave chart here on the KNC. So Aave is in a nice reaccumulation pattern as well. Very volatile in these regions. Now, my only concern, and it looks like it's playing out to be true, I've gone over a few times with you guys, is that Aave is actually in what's going to become a reaccumulation after decline. So we've got this would be this charting pattern. This schematic 4. So again, shout out to Successful Bull for helping us create even better educational content. Sexy as fuck. So here, again, my main concern with Aave is that we're about to see a reaccumulation after decline, and it looks like that's the case, that we are getting this nice top. The other part that was worrying to me was the supply characteristics that came in for this UT test. So this UT test down here, which is not super noticeable in this time frame, but this here didn't push the price up very much compared to what we were getting back here in this massive run up. So what I'm kind of feeling into is that we get a reaccumulation after decline, which is that we effectively build a lower trading range like this, and we drop into it before we go and take off. Again, very similar to what we see here. So this, I believe, is the top part of that first trading range, and then we move into the bottom part of the trading range here. So it's still a bullish characteristic, but currently this does not look bullish to me when we're, although we are currently hitting higher lows, we didn't get a higher high here. And if you look at Avalanche, we had a higher high based off of the, right after the secondary test. So this to me looks bullish still, because we have a higher high here after that secondary test and a higher low. Whereas with Aave, currently we have higher lows, but not a higher high yet. If all of a sudden we print a higher high and the trading range starts to develop more effectively, I'd be interested in seeing what it does. But for now, I actually think we're going to form a secondary, somewhat lower trading range coming off the bottom here. Probably something like this, just as a rough estimate. So that you get a kind of these two separate tops, and again, it would be this particular schematic that we're looking at here for Aave. That's my personal conjecture on it so far. What do you think what do you store your long-term capital? Gold, Bitcoin? Definitely Bitcoin. I've been Bitcoin for years. Although I've owned this gold chain since like 2007 when 2008 when I started my first business. And I don't want to sell assets, so I just accumulate more. Although, because there was a time when I could have sold this for like 4 Bitcoin. And I could have, and I didn't. Just a thought. Accumulate more. I don't necessarily try to sell one thing to get more of another thing. I just try to accumulate more in general. Or build businesses. That's a great one too. What's your thoughts on Solana? Interesting. I'm not too well up to speed on it yet. I try to focus on things that the venture team gives me. We were looking at mstable. We've seen a pretty fast depression of the price of mstable at the moment, kind of pushing right into the very bottom of the trading range. Or the MTA token, yeah. So we're kind of butting up right on the bottom of the trading range here for MTA, and there's a lot of volatility coming in here too. So I took a small position on this the other day when our PDF went out, but we're right at the bottom of the trading range effectively. So patience here is going to be, I think, a lead indicator. There we go with our top resistance bar too. So yeah, we're right at the bottom of the trading range for mstable. Is everyone is overlooking EOS? I don't feel I'm overlooking EOS. There's certain things I'm not a big fan of. Like, you can do whatever you want. I suggest you do whatever you want. So it's not that I'm overlooking it. It's just that it doesn't interest me, right? And I suggest everyone follow the things that interest them, because maybe I missed something and you're going to find out something valuable. Perfect example was in the private group. There's a lot of people that liked Theta, and I was like, I don't have time for that right now. But there was a great reaccumulation pattern, and a bunch of you guys ended up making a crap ton of money off Theta. So congratulations. This is the point. I'm not always right. I can't see everything. So if you think you see something that other people don't see, well, good for you. I think that's how a lot of people feel. When's Bitcoin hitting 60K? Didn't you notice it already did? It's at 4 hours and 38 minutes and 33 seconds from now. It's going to hit 60K, okay? Rob Biles, have you looked at BuyDAO? No. I was looking for projects that's not yet pumped. I don't look for projects that have not yet pumped. I look for projects that already have been showing strength and are in accumulation or reaccumulation patterns. My first Bitcoin I bought at $90. Not because I meant to, though, either. It was strictly, I bought Bitcoin because it was utility. I could buy it, and it was getting us discounted server prices, so that was super valuable. Ian says, can you show us visual thoughts on AMP as a VC play? Okay, so generally what I do here with ideas like this, number one is, I think we've gone over AMP, and I remember the structure was not attractive to me. So generally when I'm looking for an attractive structure, the reason I'm doing that is because it usually signals that there's big players in the game. Okay, so yeah, we did go over AMP already. I remember this. And again, the structure does not look super sound yet. But more importantly, the previous structure just doesn't have the footprint of huge players in it. So there was a trading range that took place here, and you had your spring here on January 20th. But again, let's go retrospective analysis. Wow, actually really strong growth out of there, 500 or 600%. So, okay, let me backstop here. This is a nice trading range here for those of you that are studying. Nice SOS, big LPS. Look at the declining volume through that backup phase as well. Very important. But now we could make a few conjecture. Number one, we could be witnessing reaccumulation schematic number 2, I think. No, number 1, this one, where we actually peak below in phase C. So we could be witnessing a spring. And we saw this with, so here, I'll just roughly draw it, where you spring below the trading range here as well. So in terms of like, would I take a position here? Well, first off, if you can throw $1,000 into something and not think about it for 5 years, that's great. Hugely important to understand that venture capital play. This looks like a spring to me. Look at the supply signature here at the bottom. Boom. And look at the spring style here. So I do believe you're witnessing a spring. So it's, to me, in my opinion, this does look like a reaccumulation signal. And right now you're just seeing the spring. So anything below point of control from a venture capital perspective. If you can get $1,000 in there, not care about it, wait 5 years, it's worth nothing or 100x more, then yeah, you made a good play. Can you look at ALF? What's your thoughts on BSC? It's too much already. How about HBAR? It's a biggie. I wouldn't necessarily know if it's a biggie or not. NFTs are not just art. The gaming industry is adopting NFTs at a huge rate. Yeah, again, this type of stuff to me is very easy to overvalue in a bull market. I'm going to stand by my sentiment that the only time I would be interested in this stuff is in a bear market, because I can get it for pennies on the dollar. I'm not going to buy it or think about it in the middle of a bull market. It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm going to buy an art piece or a Lamborghini. Well, I would never buy a Lamborghini, but anything you want, you can buy for way cheaper in a bear market. So just fucking wait. That's my opinion on that one. What's your long-term view of NEO? I don't have a long-term view of NEO. Take a look at 1 inch. We've gone over 1 inch a few times. I'll take one last look at it. Maybe this will be the end of the episode for today. I can hear the dogs whining in the background. They want to go for a walk. It's almost sunset, Dad. It's 4:30. Let's go over for a beach walk. That's what they're saying to me right now. I can hear them, maybe doggy dog noise. Okay, where did I put 1 inch? Let's take a quick look here. So we had gone over 1 inch in our previous video. Obviously, you can see the structure here. I was a little concerned about, again, the potential of a UTAD test here and this massive amount of supply that came in to make such a small move. That could be because of their airdrop too. So we won't negate that. Too early for me to tell, because this structure could easily become a rounded top. I would be careful. I wouldn't take entries here until I saw clear closes above, and more importantly, above the top of the box. Here it could be a dangerous position. You could drop down to $2 to $3 quite easily, and maybe even form something similar to Aave, which is the reaccumulation after decline, where you have these two separate trading ranges. When they drop $84 million into the market, like, you'd expect some type of distribution. So this actually looks a little bit like a distributive top, and maybe what they're trying to do is shake people out and buy it back lower. This is kind of a great strategic plan, in my opinion. Do you have a girlfriend? It's an awkward, weird question. No, I don't, but I have a bunch of beautiful women I get to hang out with frequently. Maker, no, everything Cosmos. Music, please, Tio. Okay, maybe I'll end off with some music. Thank you guys all for joining us today. It was Tio with the Arcane Bear. Tio, play some music. Okay, everyone's asking for music, so we'll do that. I'm going to actually play, I've got another little native flute. All the guitars sound like crap. I bought the wrong strings for the guitar. Who would have thought? 3/4 guitar needs 3/4 size strings, but we'll play some flute. This is not a high spirits flute, but this is another native flute that I'm quite a big fan of. I got this one in Guatemala, handmade. It's made out of bamboo, as you could tell, and it's pretty simple to play. It's broken, so it doesn't sound as good as it used to, but Steve with the Arcane Bear, thank you all for joining us today. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content. If you are new to the Bear channel, we do go live every day, sometimes twice a day. Hit that little subscribe button and the notification. That way you will be updated and notified for the calmest, coolest, and most collected monetary data analysis that there is out there. Steve with the Arcane Bear, thank you guys all for the support, and we'll see you again on the next episode. Bam!